The Ducati Multistrada V4 RS is possibly the best adventure sports tourer that you can't use every day. Okay, so first up for me, love the styling. I think it's stunning. There's lots of carbon fibre. I think it's a great looking bike. Love the beak at the front. Love the headlight.
It certainly looks like a Ducati.
Wow.
Interesting.
That's something.
What do you reckon? Do you like the styling?
It joins the lineup of modern adventure tourers that look like a bird.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
They all do a little bit, but
Yeah.
less of a bird than, say, like a GS.
Yeah, well, this is true. Can't beat the GS when it comes. Well, actually, the new GS looks like a bird that swallowed a box.
It does.
The red pops.
Yeah.
It looks good. It feels good too.
Yeah. It's a quality motorcycle.
Yeah, everything on it. The switchgear, it just feels quality. And I will say it's got a lot of techie specs to it. Like it's got the blind spot monitoring.
How big and bright were they?
They were so big and bright, which is really good. But I will say multiple cars I had noticed next to me thought I was putting my blinker on
Yeah, I had
because
the
it's
same-
so bright.
I had the same problem.
But that's not a problem, right? Like, because that's, hey,
You're giving you more room.
cars being more aware of motorbikes, I'm happy with that.
I reckon the big blind spot monitoring lights are a little bit of overkill because nobody's overtaking you on this bike. It is such a rapid bike.
That's true.
So if you're like me and you just watched our video on the Pikes Peak because you love Biker Talk and you want to buy all of our merch, biketalk.com.au, you're scratching your head and you're going, didn't they just review one of these? And I don't blame you because the Pikes Peak is the sporty Multistrada. So what's this thing? Well,
The expensive sporty Multistrada.
Yeah.
in case you wanted to spend even more money, this has the Desmosedici V4. That's the one from the Panigale V4, the one that wins the World Superbikes.
Yeah.
You may have heard of it. The Pikes Peak has the Gran Turismo, which is the one that they built foolishly for people to ride every day. Who's buying that? Let's buy the hot, loud race bike engine that you can't use.
Man, the engine's superb though.
Oh, it's a really good engine.
It is
incredible.
It's crazy. It's nuts.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it, but I also hated it. Anyway.
I didn't shave for 2 weeks because it just, all your facial hair just comes off.
Yeah.
It's scary.
And the hair on your head.
And I was going to say I didn't need to shave my legs because the whole time it was just crisp.
The handling on this bike is superb.
Yes, 100%.
So fully adjustable Olin Smart EC2 suspension. It's got superbike handling. Even for novices, the handling was wonderful.
And I'm doing this again. The best handling I've ever experienced. I stand by it. Like, it does all the thinking for you. You
Yeah.
just pick the preset and it works.
Yeah, it's clever.
Holy crap, what an amazing dynamic they've nailed with this bike.
And another thing that they did nail with it is the quick shifter.
The shift is excellent.
Oh, yeah.
I found it super smooth, super easy, up and down, beautiful.
I describe it as raw and exciting. Like it's a raw quick shifter. I thought you weren't a massive fan of the quick shifter on this one.
We don't need very many gears on this bike.
First and second mostly.
Yeah. But it's very rewarding to click through because it's like, it makes that really nice noise.
Yeah.
Which is, I like.
So it feels very much like a premium bike, and it looks like a $57,000 bike. It sits in very much a niche market, along with bikes like the BMW M1000 XR. But the build quality on this bike is next level. It is fabulous.
100%. So the clutch, they've nailed it, much like the quick shifter. So you only get to use it on takeoff because it's redundant everywhere else. But it feels so good. It feels like you're about to burp it over a log or something. I know it's despite the name Multistrada, I know it's a sports tourer, but it feels like the clutch can let you do whatever you want.
Yeah, it feels like an adventure bike to me.
Yeah, dynamically. But
But it sounds like a typical Ducati.
Oh yeah, you got the
Yeah.
you got the dry clutch tambourine.
Got the rattle happening.
Yeah.
So let us know. Is that a sound that you guys like? I reckon it sounds fantastic.
It did in Latins in the laneway. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a couple of other features that I did really like about it. I found the menu really easy to navigate through.
Mostly.
In terms of navigation, you could get around with ease.
So one thing I really liked was the cruise control and the fact that it's radar assisted. The distances it set were really good, and it was flawless, even with a small motorbike in front of you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've ridden bikes where you've got this cruise control and the adaptive cruise control, and it doesn't pick up bikes. This thing did really well. So
Yeah.
really impressed with that.
Yep. Oh, and one thing to mention with the brakes, the ABS is very, very good. It comes in at the right time and it works right. I always emergency stop the bikes on a private road now to check, and yeah, this ABS is class leading.
Yeah, I did the same thing. What about the rider modes? What did you ride it in? I mostly had it in touring.
Yeah, I think I had it in. Is it sport? Not the top
Yeah, this
one.
sport. I think this race is the top one.
Yeah.
And I put it in that once and went, holy shit. I mostly left it in touring though. That was pretty much even if I
Yeah.
was commuting on it.
Me too. I left it in touring.
Yeah.
I found it was perfect.
And you know what's funny though is that in touring mode you don't have access to the full power. You have access to it's almost like half.
Oh, I think it's more than that, but yeah, it's
It's
yeah,
enough.
Yeah, it's certainly enough.
It's ridiculously enough. And so when are you going to use race mode? Because if you're let's be real here, if you're at the set of lights, by the time you've set race mode to beat the guy on the R1 next to you, lights are already green. Or if you're already in race mode and you're like, yeah, you're going down, boy. As soon as you roll on the throttle, you're just doing this. It's ridiculously powerful.
Yeah, I mean, you're breaking the speed limit in first gear.
You're breaking the speed limit by sneezing while holding the accelerator. It's just ridiculous.
So the first two things in my thumbs down are also two things that I liked about it, and that's the engine and the dry clutch.
Right.
The engine, it's just so powerful. For me, I preferred the Pikes Peak with the Gran Turismo engine.
Turismo.
I thought it was much more usable. This thing is just way too much power for the average sports tourer.
57 grand? Who's buying this? Now, we've ridden a lot of bikes, and I can always kind of get into the mindset of okay, I know who this is for.
Yeah, I don't know who it's for either. And the price really does set it out from a lot of the other competitors in that range.
Yeah, and I know people are going to go, oh, it's a Ducati, and it's a Ducati with the race engine. It's yeah, but get the Pikes Peak. And
Yeah.
what's the Pikes Peak? It's 40 something.
Yeah, it's still up there, but it's
Yeah.
about 45 grand, not 57 grand.
But we didn't care that it was 45 grand because it's a Ducati.
I like the Pikes Peak, yeah.
Yeah, we like the Pikes Peak. Anyway.
Now, one thing I did mention in thumbs up, and I'm going to reiterate it here, it's hot.
Yeah.
Particularly when I'm commuting on it,
Oh, it's painful.
it is not pleasant, and it's nowhere near as cool as the Pikes Peak
Yeah.
engine, at all. This is significantly hotter.
Yeah, the Gran Turismo engine is a much better engine if you're going to be using it as an everyday bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we all know the feeling of sweaty legs in jeans. No one likes it.
Nope. Not nice.
Fuel range?
Yeah, 22 litres. Once again, isn't it a Turo? I don't... What are they doing?
But it's also very thirsty.
Yeah, it's it's got the fuel consumption of a small car.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
7 litres per 100 k's
It
or
was
something.
more than that. I think I was 8.5.
Oh.
The fuel range is it rips through the fuel.
It's a race bike. It's by a Panigale.
That's what it is. Okay, so Lucas has done a full in-depth review of this bike, and we'll put a link up over here. But talk about grin factor. What did you think?
Oh, so hard to rate this bike because, it's just weird, isn't it? So who is this bike for? This is the big question that I think all of us asked several times, and none of us can really find an answer. If you look at it dynamically, the effortless handling is just so rewarding, and
it's
it's
great.
got that signature Ducati feeling where your legs lock into the tank like two old bits of Lego, and it just feels so good.
It's a good description.
That's true. Yeah.
It's such a signature Ducati thing, and equally with Ducatis, it makes you push it harder, it makes you brake later, it makes you get your leg out, it just makes you into a hooligan. But with 200 plus horsepower, that hooligan mentality is just asking for trouble. It's too much for me, and I'm man enough to admit that. I would never ever put it in race mode on the road again. And I don't think you really should unless you're some kind of superbike wizard. So, looking at the bike, disregarding the price, and remembering how it handles and how much fun you have on it, and really being very sensible on it, I'd give it an 8. But again, who's it for?
It is really tough. I'm going to struggle as much as you did because I just got off that bike having not loved it, not hated it either, and there was nothing about it that like I loved about it, that drew me to it, that made me want to ride it again. It was great to get from A and B, the fun route, not the commute route, but I don't love the looks. I really don't love the price.
Ooh.
So for me, it's just not for me. I wouldn't buy one. I wouldn't have it in the garage. 6.5.
There you go.
Oh, zinger.
So we've ridden some bikes that could be considered the ultimate niche bike. Bikes like the Diablo V4,
Great bike.
the R18, which I own and I love it.
Yep,
Yeah,
same here.
it's a niche bike, but the Multistrada V4 RS is at the top of that list.
Wise.
Now, my time with the bike was kind of split. First up, I did a great run out to Bathurst and the Central West for the Bathurst Bike Show. Rode out there with my mate Matt from Roads of Oz and another mate Andrew, and he was out there on his Harley. We went out via Tarawera and O'Connell and came back via Oberon, and we probably did about 400 Ks all up. On that trip, the bike was awesome, and it had me thinking it was right up there with the Pikes Peak. You know, on those open country roads, you can really give it a handful, but not too much, because it's got crazy superbike power that you can't actually use, and you can't actually ride around normally with it. Honestly, this bike belongs on a racetrack. That's where that engine belongs. So grin factor, it did make me smile, and I'm going to give it about an 8 out of 10 when I'm cruising around those country roads. But when I was in and around the city, well, the score is quite a bit less.
The Multistrada V4 RS is an absolutely phenomenal bike. Essentially a super bike engine and suspension wrapped in a more comfortable sports touring package, but there are a few other options in this category and they're in this playlist if you're new.